Um, welcome to the Spells and Divinations class. Today, I'm going to teach you about magic. But first, I have a prediction. Can you hold this for me until the end of the presentation? Yeah. I want you to say stop whenever. Stop. There. There. I'm going to put. Okay, so I have a bookmark, it's a card, and then I want you to read the last complete word of this page, and the page number. No, just memorize it. Don't
the
say
last
it.
word of the page I see?
The top corner.
Okay.
And the page number, yeah.
Okay.
Memorize it, and if you want, write it down, because I'm going to ask you all the way until the end of that. And Richard, I want you to hold this. So today, I'm going to show you how magic is a science as much as it is an art. So first, why are they called tricks? You know, magicians don't like to call them tricks. But it all started in the Middle Ages, when people were worried about witchcraft and black magic. Then the church persecuted most witches, healers, and fortune tellers that were found in most villages. As a result, the church often mistakenly accused jugglers and sleight of hand performers as witches. So there was an example of a girl in Germany that was surrounded by a crowd of people, and she did this. She broke a handkerchief in a bunch of little pieces. Like that. It was in the 15th century. And she was accused of witchcraft for doing this. That was an example, and it's written actually. Next, so we can conclude that actual magicians don't like to call them tricks, and that's the first lesson you should learn today. Next, we're gonna go through 3 fields of study to show you how magic is much than tricks, and how magic could be considered a science as much as it is an art. First, cognitive psychology. Now, when you think about magic, you obviously think about some psychology going on, but this is not the type of psychology that everyone's used to talk about when you talk about magic. I'm not talking about the psychology that makes you look to the wrong place and the magician doing something else. I'm talking about psychology that's actually inside you, in your mind, in your brain. So for this, I talked to Kim Silverman. He did his PhD at Cambridge. He studied psychology and computer science. So he draws from all these fields to try to do a performance that is more than just tricks, and it relates to a deep, meaningful affirmation of human life. And what does he mean by that? Well, he says that good magic engages the part of the mind that's about conscious thought and conscious reasoning. Well, he says, if negative emotions have a negative effect in our physiology, then it is reasonable to assume that positive emotions have a positive effect. For this, doctors invite Kim Silverman to hospitals to refer to kids with terminal illnesses. And when he does that, he realizes that the kids sit up straighter, they breathe deeper, the light, the color returns to their faces, the light of your eyes, their sparkle, they look more alive. But why is that? Why is it like that everything changes? Well, he says that there's a cognitive cycle of negative thought that leads to feelings of hopelessness, which in turn generate negative thoughts, a downward spiral. Maybe some of you knows what he means by this. He says that the experience of magic can break that negative spiral and negative cycle, and the person will feel better. So he tells me that what is showing sometimes what is showing someone like performance, a piece, magic, it sometimes turns to 1 hour counseling session because of that. Because people just like want to talk more about it and all of that. He says that the subtext of all magic is that things might not be the way they appear, and that means that there's hope. Next, we're going to talk about real magic, and by that, I mean mathematics. Now, when you have a deck of cards, how many possible combinations of these 4 cards do you think there is? Like possible combination from 4 cards? Well, first you have 4, then you have the next one could be any of the 3, then 2, then 1. So there's 24 possible combinations. Well, let me illustrate this for you. That's the number of words in Shakespeare's total 43 works. Does anybody want to guess what's the next number? That's the distance from the Earth to the Sun in meters. The next number is the estimated amount of cells in your body. The next is the distance that in meters that light travels in a year. Next is the age of the universe in seconds. Next, the distance in meters to the nearest galaxy, the Andromeda galaxy. Next, the approximate diameter of the visible universe. Next, that is the mass in kilograms of the largest measured black hole. And the last number is the number of combinations you have in a deck of cards. That is equal to 52 factorial. And that's only with this little deck of cards. Now, I was talking to this professor yesterday, computer science, and I was telling him, will we ever be like theoretically come up with a computer that's able to like generate all these combinations? He's like, it's impossible. It would be like 6 times the amount of the universe. Even with 1 billion computers working in parallel, like multi processing, it will take about it will take 6 times more the time of the universe, in seconds, even like generated in seconds. So it's actually impossible. So when you see a magician shuffle a deck, it's actually the shuffle. But actually, what is the probability of guessing the top card done correctly of any deck? Well, there's actually, so for this, I went to talk first to Diakonis, who's a professor of statistics and really famous magician, magic world here at Stanford. He says that the probability, obviously, of guessing 1 is 1 over n, and n is 52 cards, the deck of cards, right? Therefore, the probability of guessing the top card time after time throughout the whole deck in a shuffle deck is about 4.5 average. And he has, well, he tells me how much times you have to shuffle a deck for it to be properly shuffled. And he says 7 shuffles are necessary in order to suffice a properly shuffled deck. Now, it's a mathematical fact, actually, and there's a theorem behind this. And I mean, here are some of the details. We're not going to go over it. It's a whole paper and it's like research about this. And it's actually 7. He says it's 7. Next, the next field of study is engineering. We're going to see how magic has been also a part of engineering throughout history. First, hero of Alexandria from 10 to 70 AD. He created an illusion that where the doors will openly as if gods were opening the doors, but whenever they set up fire in this altar. So there's like here you can see the whole mechanism how he did that. Next, the 18th and 19th centuries, there was illusionists that would generate chess players, like automatic chess players based on clockwork. Most of them were engineers and stuff, but were also magicians. And here you can see some examples and like the drawings of how they draw like the advertisements when they used to perform. Now, Robert-Houdin was the father of modern magic, and he had the first alarm system in his house, electrical alarm system in his house, and the first around 10 years before Thomas Edison created the first functional light bulb. Now that I went through all the fields of study, I found an analogous relationship. Like if you take all three fields, you can see that entrepreneur and magicians are almost the same thing, because they envision an impossible future and they work their way towards that goal. And the person who told me that is Adam Chire. He is a person here in Silicon Valley and also a magician. And that we end with a prediction. So at the beginning, I told you to stop in any part of the book. You read the word and the page. You wrote it down, right? Mm-hmm. So yesterday I made a prediction in the slides, and I think it was what was the page number?
337.
And what was the word?
Stream.
Are you sure?
I think so. I believe so. It was the last
No,
line.
yeah, of course, it was correct.
Well,
not only that. I want you to take the book and go to page 337.
Okay.
I like this.
There's no page.
Wait, no. It
I
was
just saw you
there.
to close the book.
There was no page.
Do you remember the envelope? Before
Excuse me?
started?
No.
Oh my gosh.
No.
And take the whatever's inside there.
No. Yeah.
And what's the word in the corner?
Stream.
Oh, God.
Get the word
Whoa.
Any questions other than all the questions? Or how did you do that?
Can you do the first trick again?
Any questions?
Yeah,
or-
the paper.
What the hell?
The napkin was sick. Are those just regular daddy hole napkins?
Yeah, I got them before getting.
How hard is that trick to learn?
It's pretty basic. It's
Oh,
like,
really?
So remember how one extra thing. Remember how I told you that when you shuffle the deck, it's like I'll complete the next. Okay. So how do you think it would take me to? How do you think it will take me to take all the cards and put them back, like separate the reds and the blacks? How long do you think it will take me?
Do you get to see them?
Once I have shuffled, once I shuffled them like all over.
4 seconds.
4 seconds. Actually, just like that.
Wait,
I
what?
take back the deck and then
That's pretty good, guys.
Not that.
Last question.
How
What?
much do you practice? Or like, does it take a lot of time? Like, do you practice homework?
Whoa.
Like, when did you